Alrighty. Sorry, I'm a little bit messed up here. Welcome to the man cave. It's Friday. Uh, Let me bring Tanya up here with me. Tanya, can you hear me? I don't have any video on Tanya. Okay, not sure what's happening there. Anyway, welcome to the man cave. It's Friday night. Glad you could join me. And we're going to do the same thing we always do. We're going to start off with a drink. Let me get back over here to the chat window where I can see what's going on. Steven's with us, Janice is with us, Jeff's with us, Hank and Ryan. Let me see if Tanya's back with us. Can you hear me, Tanya?
I can.
Awesome.
Sorry,
There we
my
go.
computer just dropped the internet completely.
That's okay. We don't have Jeff with us tonight. Jeff's out in the boondocks somewhere with a dial-up internet connection. He's got a 2400 baud modem running on some sort of compact suitcase laptop that who knows where it came from. But anyway, tonight I bought a new bottle of bourbon. Or, I'm sorry, I bought a new bottle of Tennessee whiskey yesterday. Uh, this this is Uncle Nearest, and Tanya and I learned about Uncle Nearest when we went to the Jack Daniels distillery back about a year ago now, and Stephen Hickey reminded me of it when he showed me this stuff. Uh, Uncle Nearest is Uncle Nearest is the man who taught Jack Daniel how to distill. So if you're really interested in a cool piece of history, go out to YouTube, do a search for Uncle Nearest, and find the video uh, that is done by the CEO of Uncle Nearest, and she'll talk for a couple of minutes and then show you a professionally made cinematic video that explains who Uncle Nearest is, and it's a really cool story. So, you guys check it out. So, in the meantime, I'm going to pour a few fingers of that just to get the ball rolling here. Have a good pour tonight. So, cheers on a Friday night. If you're having a drink with me, let me know what you're having and where you are. And if anybody would like to come online with me tonight, let me know, and I'll bring you up here. I'll bring you up here on screen with me some tonight. Tanya, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, first of all, I need to answer Stephen. Yes, I am in charge of the household internet, but
Yep.
today I did have to take my laptop to work. So I think it was probably just switching from the work laptop to the home laptop. It's networks that were causing some issues. But tonight I
Yep.
am drinking a concoction of my own devise. It is a portion of milk with a full thing of coffee and a little bit of butter rum.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
It
Butter
is
rum,
tasty.
butterscotch is one of the things I was talking to Stephen for the last couple nights. I've been having virtual drinks with Stephen via instant messenger. And last night we had Uncle Nearest, and the night before that, I'm trying to remember we had the McKenna the night before that. So yeah, this is a rare week. I've drank whiskey 3 nights in a row, so that's not common. So uh, I never have more than two, and I usually only have one drink a week. So uh, Stephen, I like it pretty well. I haven't had enough of it to determine if I'll buy it again. I might. Uh, it'll take me half the bottle to determine whether it's something that I really like. I paid more for this than I've paid for some of the others. This is a $60 bottle, and the first comment I have on it, I don't like it as well as I like my Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. And in terms of Tennessee whiskey, right now, I think Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select sets the bar for Tennessee whiskey for what I've had, and it's better than a lot of the bourbons I've had as well. Uh, That's not saying much, guys. Don't take that. I'm no expert because bourbon and whiskey are new to me. I've only been taking serious looks at bourbon and whiskey for a year now, and this is good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. I'm just not sure if it's going to be one of my house drinks. I really did like that 12-year-old Knob Creek, but that one's also difficult for me to get. I'm just extremely happy that the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select is as good as it is, and I can buy that any day of the week. I never have to go hunting for that. It's always available. Andy, welcome aboard. Andy's up in York, Pennsylvania. I can remember Andy where he's from because I've done a little time in York. It's one of those places I have spent a little bit of time. Not a whole lot, but back when I worked for Caterpillar, I did a little time in York. So, all right, Tanya, I'm going to drop you back down here. Let's see here. Brian wants to know if I got the Proud Grill skewers. You talking about these? Yep, that's where I got them. I meant to pick those up. If you watch that walkthrough video I did at Atlanta Grill Company last week, I grabbed a set of these and I meant to take them with me. I meant to buy them while I was there and I forgot. But I bought these. I ordered these and I bought some bitters and some stuff for making old fashions with that I haven't opened yet. But yeah, that stuff came in this week. I haven't tried these skewers yet, and I'm first of all, let me say I'm not 100% sure I'm going to really like these things. I'm going to have to try them out. These are different. I'm not real sure how these are going to work out for me. I've got several other sets of skewers that I like. These I'm just going to have to check them out and see. These are radically different from anything I've ever used, so I'm not going to really know how well I like these until I try them. They're not expensive, so and they're stainless and they look to be very well made. You can't really go wrong by trying those out. I'm just concerned about that format a little bit. Like I said, I've got several other sets of skewers, and I'm going to do a skewer cook sometime here soon. I've been wanting to do a kebab video for a long time, and I want to do kofta. But I don't think kofta will work out so well on that skewer. It might, so we'll see what happens. But let's see. Jonathan's take, man, I'm glad I don't have that kind of problem. I'm having to take a break from 18-year-old Scotch. I don't have any 18-year-old Scotch. I think I've got 12-year-old Scotch. I don't have any 18s. I've had 18 in the past. I broke down a long time ago before I knew what was good for me and bought 18-year-old bottle of the Macallan, and that was a complete waste because I didn't know how to appreciate that at the time, and it was a stupid expenditure on my part because I just used it to get buzzed a couple of times and didn't appreciate what I was drinking. So I need Woodford Reserve. Yeah, I need to look into that. I see it. My local shop has that. It's not hard to come by, I don't believe. And we'll see how it pans out. All right. Let me see where I want to get started this week in terms of what we want to look at. Let me bring my pictures up here. Let me give you a quick update on the dry aging project. This is the rib roast, the whole prime rib. The day we put it in, that was on September 21st. This was on about September 23rd or 24th. You can see the color changing. And then this one was about at the 7 or 8 day mark. And this is what it looked like yesterday. Yesterday was the 9th. So we're about 18 or 19 days into this 40-day. We're almost halfway with the dry age. I probably won't show you another picture of this because the what you see in this picture, the appearance is not going to change a whole lot more uh, between now and the time I break that open. That has a really dark crimson color, as you can see. It's going to darken up a little bit more and get mostly black on the outside. If it changes dramatically between now and next week, I will I'll pull out the camera and I'll make another picture of that. Um, let's see here. One of the other things I talked about briefly online and social media this week was hot sauces. I made a post somewhere about hot sauces because I was doing some stuff with hot sauces this week, and it made me think about the things I do with hot sauces and what I use them for. And I wrote up a post about it on Man Cave Meals. I use hot sauces basically for two things. When I'm cooking with a hot sauce, when I'm putting a hot sauce in something where I want to create a spicy flavor in whatever I'm cooking, my go-to is this Valentina. And the intriguing thing about this Valentina is it is the cheapest hot sauce you'll ever find. Um, I buy I can buy those bottles of Valentina. If you, there's these places around here called dollar store or the dollar stores, those stores where everything in the store is a dollar. I can buy Valentina. I can buy these 12-ounce bottles of Valentina in those stores for $1, and they're not much more than that at Walmart. They're cheap, and I just love the flavor that this Valentina has, and it's very inexpensive, and it's what I use when I am working on something where I just want to add some spiciness to it. It's really good, and guys, if you haven't tried it, I'm challenging you to grab a bottle of that. There's another. They make a hot. This is a very mild hot sauce. Also, it's not hot by any means, and comparing it with other sauces, they have a black label bottle that is hot. If you really require a hotter hot sauce, then I recommend getting that Black Label Valentina. But try this stuff; it will really amaze you at how beautiful a flavor this Valentina has. So, like I said, when I'm cooking with hot sauce, when I'm going to put hot sauce in something for the purpose of making it spicy, I use Valentina, and it serves me very well. I'm guilty of not giving credit where credit's due. I use sriracha also. Uh, Sometimes I usually have a bottle of each, and the sriracha has a little bit different flavor profile than the Valentina. You have to just kind of compare the two side by side to see if you like one better than the other. But both of them are relatively inexpensive, and the Valentina is super inexpensive. So I highly recommend giving that a shot. But the other two bottles that I've got sitting out here in this picture, the red clay is made in Georgia, and that particular sauce is made with Fresno chilies, which have a very specific flavor. And this sauce has, I believe, if I remember correctly, this sauce has got Fresno chilies and it's got like a white wine vinegar, so it's got a really bright flavor to it. And the red clay and the truff are sauces that I use. I want to call them like a finishing sauce. If I'm gonna put hot sauce on something, I don't use the Valentina. I use something like the red clay or the truff. My wife likes Cholula. My wife is a big fan of Cholula. I think she also likes Tabasco quite a bit, but she likes Cholula when we can get it, and we keep Cholula here at the house. But these the red clay is a really great add-on sauce if you're going to drizzle hot sauce on something like a pizza or scrambled eggs or whatever you might put hot sauce on. I highly recommend giving the red clay a try. The truff is in a league of its own, and it's really expensive. that truff bottle, that 6-ounce bottle of truff is like $16 or $17. It's it's really expensive, but it has one of the most unique flavors I've ever had in a hot sauce. This Black Label bottle is not particularly hot. It's probably about the same heat level as the Valentina, which is not very hot. There's a Red Label bottle of Truff that's a lot hotter than this one, but both of them have that sweet earthiness from the truffle oil that goes in those, and it's a very, very unique flavor as a finishing sauce. I don't want to sit here and recommend that you buy Truff, but I'd love for you to have the opportunity to try Truff at least once because it is unique. And in the world of hot sauces, that one stands out as something that's a really unique piece. This week, let me back up here. Let me figure out where we are. That picture's out of order, or I'm going the wrong direction, one or the other. Yeah, the pictures are out of order. I don't know why. I spend a bunch of time putting those pictures in order, and they end up not staying in order. The cooking video that I published today, I did a man cave version of dump cake. And for those of you who are familiar with dump cake, that's exactly what it's just what it says it is. You dump the ingredients in a pan and you cook it. There's not much to it. Most of the time, these dump cakes are done in a Dutch oven, but I didn't do Dutch oven this time. I decided to cook mine in a 9 by 13. And I wanted to amp it up some. I wanted to make something that I'd be proud of. And I think I achieved this with this particular recipe. You guys know I like cooking with bourbon and Michter's. You see my bottle of Michter's sitting there. Michter's is a bourbon that I bought that I'm not a huge fan of, so it got relegated into my cooking. I've been cooking with it, and it's done real well for me there. But the dump cake is a very simple process. It takes a minuscule list of ingredients. All the ingredients you can see here, except for the butter. I've got 2 cans of pie filling, and I decided to use cherry and peach. You can use one, you can use the other. You could use apple if you wanted to. You could make it yours. I like the combination of cherry and peach, so that's what I decided to go with. And this Lucky Leaf brand of canned pie fillings, they're amazing if you've ever tried them. They're not they're not as cheap as the rest of them, but they're worth it. So what I did was I took both of those cans of pie filling and dumped them into a mixing bowl, and I dumped in somewhere in the neighborhood of a quarter of a cup, maybe a little more of the bourbon, and stirred it up. And then the next set of ingredients back here in the back is this bag. What that is a bag. It's a boxed cake mix from the grocery store. I don't remember what brand I bought. It might have been a Pillsbury or a Duncan Hines, but it's a plain yellow cake mix. So what you do there is you spread that cake mix out over the top of your pie filling, and I greased this dish. I sprayed Pam in it, put my pie filling and bourbon in there, dumped on the cake mix and spread it out, and then I cut butter pats and laid them all across the top. That's a stick and a half of butter, 12 tablespoons, cut into slices and just laid out on top. And what you see on top there is I just took some brown sugar and put some cinnamon in it and put it in one of my shakers and just shook it across the top of that, a light dusting of brown sugar and cinnamon on the top. And I was running my grill at 350. And let me back up here. Running the grill at 350, and about an hour later, this is what you end up with. And I cannot describe the aroma of this to you. It's just out there on its own. This is like a cobbler, but the cake part of it doesn't form up quite as firmly as the cobbler part does. It's a little softer, than a typical cobbler. And no, Brian, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, because that butter all gets absorbed basically into that cake mix. And this is off the hook. This, I said in the video, at the end of this video, this recipe is going to be one of my top 2 or 3 favorite recipes that I've cooked on the grill. And it's by far, it's easier than a cobbler, really, because I don't have to mix up the cobbler batter, which is just, cobbler batter is just a 3 ingredient process. Paul, there's a little, somewhere a quarter to a third of a cup in there, but this is really easy to make, and it's stupid delicious. We'll talk to Tanya about it here. Tanya helped me kill this thing, didn't you, Tanya?
Yeah. And full disclosure, we each had a bowl, and we were like, we're going to take this to my parents' house, because my dad has a notorious sweet tooth. Yeah. And that was what we were going to do.
That was the plan.
And, it didn't make it to my parents' house. It was delicious. It was really, it exceeded expectations.
It really did. And it's really amazing. Guys, this is a sweetness overload. It is super sweet. And it is actually so sweet that I think when I do this again, I am probably going to cut in some lemon juice with that pie filling.
I didn't think it was like super sweet.
I did.
I thought it was just like, I was like, oh, it'll be good. But no, it was like way better than good.
Yeah, it's crazy good. And how simple it is. It's amazing, and it's easy to make. That's the greatest thing about it. This is one of those things when you're done cooking barbecue, you can have this thing sitting ready to go. You can make this up and let it sit out on the counter for a couple hours, even if you want to, before it has to go on the grill. But if you got a brisket or something going, well, I'm not going to say that. That's bad advice. I would not put this on behind a brisket. I'm sorry, but you could cook it out. You could cook it while you're eating. This cooks for about an hour, and this is another one of those things where I would not cook it in my grill behind meat where I've got grease and smoke from the meat. I cook this on my clean grill. For those of you that follow me, I've got 2 Kamado Joe Classics. I've got a Classic 3 and a Classic 2, and I cook all of my meat on the Classic 3, and my Classic 2 is kept clean for baking. I don't cook any meat on the Classic 2 anymore, and I don't have the problem of off flavors creating. You wouldn't want a greasy smoke. You wouldn't want this thing cooking in greasy smoke. It would be bad. Brian, that'd be where I'd start, because you got 2 cans of pie filling. I don't, half a lemon's going to produce maybe a tablespoon of lemon juice. So yeah, that might be a good place to start. But my actual recommendation for you is, if you're going to try this, don't do the lemon juice yet, because I don't exactly know how that's going to work. I think it'll be helpful, but try it as is first, because you won't be disappointed in it. And Jonathan, I published that video today. It's on Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page and their YouTube channel. And I think I shared it out to a couple other places like Kamado Guru and the Kamado Joe page as well, or the Kamado Joe Facebook page group. I'll publish it on the Man Cave Meals page tomorrow or Sunday, so it'll pop up there as well. But
it was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I mean, I'm usually not a big super sweets person. I'm more of a savory person. But after eating the first bowl of that, I was like, hot dog, this is good. And I was really glad that we were going to give it to my parents, because I needed it out of the house. But I was even happier the next day when, after dinner, I was craving something sweet. And I was like, do we have any of that left?
That needs to be served. And probably, I'm going to want to say no more than a half a cup serving. That's enough of that. No, it's not 50-50. It's I didn't measure my cinnamon and brown sugar, but my estimation is I in my shaker jar, I probably put uh, a quarter to a third a cup of brown sugar, and I probably put a teaspoon of cinnamon in with that. And I have some strong cinnamon. I've got that Saigon, that Vietnamese cinnamon from Costco, or I think we got it at Costco or Sam's Club. It's a Members Mark. It's a really strong cinnamon. So maybe 1 teaspoon of cinnamon to 5 or 6 tablespoons of brown sugar max. And all in all, there's probably only 2 or 3 tablespoons of that shaken on top of the whole thing. So measurements aren't real critical there. Just, you can eyeball it. That's not something that's going to ruin you one way or the other. Even if you got too much cinnamon on there, it'd still be good. But and you can leave that off too. That's optional as well. And one of the other things I wanted to mention, the bourbon. If you don't want bourbon, just leave it out. And if you want something different from bourbon, this would also be really good with amaretto or frangelico. The amaretto would bring bring almond flavor in with that fruit, and almond goes really well with cherries or peaches or both. And the frangelico would bring hazelnut. So both of those liqueurs would work extremely well in this, as well as bourbon. And in fact, I got to thinking about that. You could put rum in this as well, and even like a dark rum would go well. You know how everybody knows rum and fruit go together. So there's a lot of options you can do. You don't have to use bourbon, and if you can leave the alcohol out altogether, or you can mix it up. I thought about Grand Marnier, and I'm not real sure. The Grand Marnier brings an orange flavor, so that might be good. I don't know. I like the bourbon. I like the flavor the bourbon brings.
I
So
really liked that too. I didn't think it was sometimes like I'm not a big alcohol person, so sometimes alcohol and desserts can be overwhelming to me, and that's all you taste, but not in this case. It was just like perfect. It's like there was the flavor that you knew was there,
yeah,
but it wasn't overwhelming it. It was really good.
I didn't put that much in it. I didn't want to overdo it because I know Tanya doesn't like too much of it, and it's just I didn't actually measure how much I put in there. If you watch the video, I just poured it in out of the bottle, and I'm just guessing. I'm guessing that I was around a quarter to a third of a cup. So, all right, Tanya, I'm going to drop you back down here for just a bit.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about dinner tonight. We
All right.
we did pizza tonight, and on Wednesday I made some dough. I wanted to make one of my 48-hour cold fermented pizza doughs. So I made this dough up on Wednesday, and this afternoon early, I lit up the Alpha because I wanted to cook. And yes, Huzaifa, you can leave the alcohol out. You don't have to put that in there at all. That's totally optional. But while I was getting pizza ready to go, the UPS truck showed up, and I got a gift in the mail today from Alpha. Alpha's new toolkit is out, and the kit that I got here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-piece set. The larger peel is an extra piece, but this new toolkit, I know you may have heard me talk in the past about the Alpha tools and how I did not like them. Well, Alpha has solved that problem. These tools are top notch. And what I have here is it came with the deck brush. This is a brass bristle brush that's on a 36-inch handle where I can brush ash around inside that oven with no problem. This is a great brush. It works great, and it's going to hold up well. The second piece is the ember rake, this curved rake. This is what you use. When I fire up the Alpha oven, I light the fire in the middle where it's heating up my cooking deck in the middle more so than off to one side. And before I'm ready to cook, I want to rake all that coal over to the left-hand side of the grill and then brush the surface clean to put my pizzas on. And this is the ember rake tool in that set. This is a shovel for shoveling out embers or ash out of the grill. This is a turning peel for rotating your pizzas while they're cooking. It's a smaller peel than the launching and retrieving peel. And this is the small launching peel. This is about 10 inches, I guess. I didn't measure it. It's 9 or 10 inches wide. It's a real perfect, really about a perfect size for the pizzas I make in this oven. And then you can't really tell it here, but this is a larger peel. This is 12 inches probably. Uh, and these tools are incredibly well done. The tools that you've seen me using in the past are the GI Metal brand, and the heads on these Alpha tools are as good as those GI Metal peels and tools are. The only difference I see between the GI Metal and these Alpha, the Alpha tools have a steel tubular handle that's two pieces where they screw together and they come apart. The handle itself is two pieces, and then the head, whatever piece is going on, it's a third piece. They can be broken down and easily stored and easily shipped, for one thing. That will make shipping for Alpha a lot easier on these tools. The GI Metal handles are all one piece. They're all permanently fastened to whatever implements on the end, and they are fiberglass. They're not steel. So uh, the the price on these tools, I'm not sure exactly what the pricing is on what I have. When I went to Atlanta Grill Company's site to look at what they have, they've got a four-piece kit, and it includes one peel, the ember rake, the brush, and the turning peel. And there's one kit. The kit that I have, the shorter kit, I believe is $179. They've got a kit with longer handles for the larger ovens that I think's $100 more. But I didn't see the shovel in that kit, so I'm not real sure what's included there on that kit. Uh, Eric, I don't know the answer to that question. That's one of those things that is going to be up to the individual. For me, I love it. Uh, I don't know how to quantify that as to whether or not it's worth it for the average grill owner. I love the versatility I have with this oven. I like being able to cook on it. I find it challenging. It's I would say not, probably not in the greater scheme of things, because most of the people I know that are average grill owners, they want to have, precise temperature control. They want things to happen unattended. This oven requires your attention. You can't, it will not run for extended periods of time on its own. You have to feed it. You have to put wood in it, and you have to maintain that. And I'm trying to think of how to put this. This oven when I cook on the Alpha. I change my intent. I change my method. I cook. I change whatever I need to change to cook at whatever temperature my oven's running at. I don't try to force the oven to a particular temperature to suit me. I know how to run this oven in about three different temperature ranges pretty easily. I can run it in the 400-degree range, 350 to 400-degree range pretty easily. I can run it in the 600-degree range, 500 to 600-degree range pretty easily, and I can run it at 750 plus pretty easily. I've done enough cooking in those temperatures that uh, I've gotten the hang of doing that. This is not a great tool for low and slow cooking. I have done some low and slow cooking on it just to see that it could be done, but it's not it's not the right tool in my mind for low and slow cooking. Paul, mine sits right outside my back door here on a sidewalk under an awning. These ovens are weatherproof though. When I had the larger one, when I had the 4 pizza version, it sat on my deck uncovered and it did just fine. There's nothing that the weather will hurt on these ovens. Nothing that I'm aware of. The the original tools that I got with the 4 pizza that had the wooden handles on them, those wooden handles did not survive well in the weather. They need to be kept inside. And had I kept them inside, they'd probably still be in good shape. But these new handles, you can do whatever you want to do with them. So let's see. Anyway, here's the dough that I made. This is after 48 hours in the refrigerator. I mixed up a 65% hydration dough. I mixed it by hand. I kneaded it by hand. And I did a bulk rise for 4 hours or so at room temperature before I cut it into 2 dough balls, shaped the balls, put them in a container, put them in the refrigerator for 48 hours. And this is what it looked like this afternoon when I got it out. I took it out I was planning to cook about 4, and I took these out of the refrigerator about noon. And after they had been out for about an hour, I did a stretch and fold and reshape into a ball on each one of them and put them back in a container and let them rise at room temperature. Let them uh, bench proof is what you call that again for a couple more hours before I shape these guys out. So here's a hand shaped one of those doughs that's hand shaped. And my pizzas are simple. My wife and I like pepperoni pizzas, so I just put some sauce on this guy, some shredded. This is a 3 cheese blend shred. It's got mozzarella, provolone, and parm in it, and then some pepperoni on top of that. And then I go straight to the oven. And my deck here, the deck was running 775, 800 degrees, and the ambient temperature was probably close to the same or maybe just a little bit hotter. So this is going to be about a 2-minute pizza cook. And I can't take pictures while I'm actually cooking one of these very easily because I'm turning it fairly constantly. After the pizza's been on that deck for 30 seconds, it's firm enough that I can put that turning peel underneath it and turn the pizza. And I give it a quarter of a turn every 10 or 15 seconds to keep it moving and get it a nice cook on it. And this is what you end up with in 2 minutes or less. A beautiful pizza. This had a great bite, a great chew to it. That the longer cold fermenting dough makes a beautiful flavor. And this is what that crust kind of looks like. I've tried to find a place where I could cut it. I got a nice puff. That's called a cornicione, I believe, or cornicione. Where's Freddie when I need him? But let's see. Brian, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that very question here in just a moment. That's a good one. So that's what Tanya and I had for dinner tonight was the pizza. What'd you think about it?
Oh, I thought it was delicious. I was starving. I couldn't wait to get into it.
Yeah, we ate early. We ate early because Tanya was ready to eat when she got home today. So I had the
Yeah.
oven fired up. Bring me Brian's question back.
Okay.
Where there we go. How do pizzas differ between the Kamado Joe and the Alpha? Well, the Alpha, if you, there's a lot of similarities and there are some differences between the Kamado experience and the Alpha experience. Some wood-fired oven people are going to argue with me on this, but I like the flavor. I can tell a flavor difference between the wood fire and a charcoal fire for some reason or another. There's a little bit of a flavor difference that I like coming from the wood fire. There's also a difference between the gas fire. I've got the Gosney Rock Box that's gas fired, and oddly enough, this is another thing I can't explain very easily. Oddly enough, the flavor from the Gosney when I'm running it really hot, it's closer to the Alpha than it is to the Kamado Joe. The Kamado Joe is not a good tool, in my opinion, for cooking extremely hot pizzas. It's not a good tool for Neapolitan style pizza. It will do it. It uh, the problem I've got with taking a Kamado Joe to 800 plus degrees is the metal bands that hold that dome and the base together. They expand a great deal when they get that hot. And I've had some situations where I was actually afraid of my grill when I took my grill up to 800 and 900 degrees based on how loose my ceramic dome was inside that metal band, and I was afraid that it would come loose. And if that would ever happen, I've never seen it happen. I've heard about it happening, but if that dome would ever come out of that band while I'm standing anywhere near it, somebody's going to get hurt. And it scares me. I'm afraid of it. I don't like running the Kamado Joe that hot. And that, guys, I've got a little bit of experience on the Kamado. I've done a lot of cooking on these guys, and that's the only time I think the Kamados are unsafe is when you're running them that hot. There's I don't know. Here's the thing: pizza, Neapolitan pizza is one style of pizza, and they're cooked hot, and that's one of the things you can do on this Alpha oven and on the Gosney very easily, very safely, and it does a great job of it. What the Kamado Joe is good at, most pizzas, all the other pizzas are cooked at 550 degrees or less for that style of pizza. You don't need to go this hot. And the Kamado Joe does fine with those. It does very well with those. Tanya and I have had lots of pizzas off the Kamado Joe. And I think one of the things I might do here in the immediate future is I might do another Kamado Joe pizza video and do a pizza video not using the Dojo. Just do a straightforward pizza cook. The Dojo, in my opinion, is a great tool, especially if you've got the Fireboard Pro, because the Fireboard Pro is fully capable of running that Dojo at around 600 or 650 degrees, and it's beautiful. Uh, it takes the work out of getting that thing to the temperature you wanted. It does it all for you, and it's an expensive tool, but it's when you've added what between the Fireboard 2 and the Dojo, that's $600 worth of add-ons probably, or 500. So yeah, Huzaifa said he'd like to see one without the Dojo. So I'll do that. The only thing, the only accessory you need to pull that off successfully is a pizza stone. I think you need the Kamado Joe pizza stone or something of that quality to pull this off, and it's not hard to do. So yeah, we'll do one. Tanya, we'll do a I don't know. We'll do a regular pizza.
Are you going to force me to eat pizza?
No.
Oh my gosh. Twist my arm. I
Yeah.
love pizza.
Steven says, tightening your bands is important, but I'm with you there. But still, even if your bands are tight, that I still believe that dome is not as secure as I'd like for it to be in there when you've got this grill running 900 degrees. It's just the Kamado. That's a misconception that a lot of people believe. Tanya, I'm gonna drop you back down here again. We'll bring you back. It's a misconception. If somebody tells you that you just need to cook your pizza hot and it makes a better pizza, that is not true. Some of my favorite pizzas are not cooked over 550 degrees. I love pizzas that are cooked at 450, 500, 550. I'm a big fan of the Detroit style pan pizza, and that's cooked in the 500-degree realm. New York style pizzas are cooked at 500 to 600 degrees. Plain like a Sicilian, like the Godfather style pizzas, those are cooked at 400 and 450. they're great. You don't have to cook hot to make a great pizza. And one of the things I see more commonly than anything else is those black burnt bottoms of pizzas, and that's where somebody's taken a pizza dough that they've bought somewhere, and they say, "Well, I need to cook that really hot. It's going to make it a great pizza." It makes a great burnt bottoms. What it does, you can't have dough with any sugar in it and cook it that hot. Yes, Janice, you're exactly correct. That's the whole thing. Wherever your dough comes from, you need to follow the instructions that come with that dough in terms of temperature, or you'll ruin it. They're not there just for fun, and cooking it hotter does not make it better. And Brian, if you want to get, there's a couple of great books on pizza. One of my favorite ones is what's the Elements of Pizza by Ken Forkish. That's a really good one. Uh, and I've got one on order that I'm excited about getting. I can't tell you how good it is yet because I don't have it, but I bought the Modernist Cuisine Pizza series. It's called Modernist Pizza. It's a 3 volume set. I was supposed to have that this week, but they backed up the shipping date on that till like the 19th of October now, so it's going to be later on in the month till I get that. Uh, there's another book called Mastering Pizza, and I can't remember the author's name on that one. That book's got some really great information in it. You'll find it if you search for it on Amazon. And there's another one by a West Coast pizza guy. His name's Tony Gemignani or something like that, uh, called the Pizza Bible. That's a really good book. Let me the Pizza Bible. Tony Gemignani. Uh, let's see here. No, that's not it. The Pizza Bible. It's this guy right here. The dadgummit. The Pizza Bible. I've got one of these. This book's really good. There's a lot of great information in that book, and Tony spends a lot of time talking about the flours he uses. And unfortunately, I can't get any of the flours he uses around here. And while I've got that up, let me find the Mastering Pizza because I really enjoyed this. Yeah, this one, Mark Vetri. This is an excellent book also. But my favorite book is Elements of Pizza by Ken Forkish. This is my favorite one. And I knew who Ken Forkish was before this book came out because he wrote another book that I like called Flour, Water, Salt, and Yeast, and it's about making bread. And uh, this is a natural progression from bread for him. This book's got a lot of great material in it, and I use some of the recipes that Ken wrote. Uh, Todd, I've posted a lot of dough recipes, and there's if you look on the Atlanta Grill Company YouTube channel for the pizza videos that I've done on there, those are my most recent ones. Uh, actually, there's 3 pizza videos out there where the dough recipe is exactly the same for all three cook types. The only difference in them is the amount of yeast I put in them. But um, those are all flour, water, salt, and yeast pizza recipes. That's the only 4 ingredients in those, and that that's a very generic type of pizza recipe. Some of the better pizza recipes that are not cooked at such extreme temperatures have oil and sugar in them, or things like um, molasses or sorghum. Sorghum's good in a pizza dough. So uh, I have cooked calzones. That's something I need to do again sometime. I think there's a Kamado Joe. I think I did a Kamado Joe video on calzones or stromboli or something. It's been a while. It's been quite a while. It's something I need to revisit. But the same dough you use to make pizza with, you make calzones also. And Tanya and I like calzones, and there's a difference between a calzone and a stromboli, and it's because it's differentiated by what goes inside of it. And I don't remember the details on that, so somebody will have to refresh my memory there on that. Brandon, I recommend the Pro simply because the K couple thermistors that are on the Pro, they're more durable and they're a lot more robust in the temperature range they can read. Uh, the drawback, if you consider the drawback on the Pros, it's only got 3 probe ports on it instead of 6. But for me, I've never, the only time I've ever hooked 6 probes to my Fireboard 2 is when I was testing the temperature throughout a big grill. I normally only have 1 probe connected, and that's the ambient probe. Occasionally, I'll throw a food probe in, depending on what I'm cooking, but not very often. So 3 probes is good for me. I reckon the Pro is $50 more than the. I think it's $50 more than the regular. 00 flour is not something you have to have. It's nice for these higher temperature pizzas, but for any other kind of pizza, I use King Arthur bread flour. I get real, and I've done the high temperature pizzas with King Arthur bread flour also. In fact, the high temperature pizzas I did on the Atlanta Grill Company videos, where I used that same recipe for all 3 cook types, I used King Arthur uh, bread flour in those because I didn't want to use something that might be hard for somebody to get. The Caputo pizzeria flour that comes in the blue bag is hard to come by sometimes. Everybody doesn't have access to that. I have access to it, but I have to buy 55 pounds of it at a time. There's a wood fired oven place near me, and those guys use that flour, and he'll sell me bags of that flour. But I don't think I'm going to buy it again. I'll buy smaller quantities of the red bag if I need the 00 flour. And you can amp up the protein content in a standard 00 flour by putting the vital wheat gluten in it. You can add some of that to the flour if you want to strengthen it, but that's a whole nother story. I might have a different opinion on that after I get this Modernist pizza set and see what those guys think about pizza. I haven't tried. I have tried the King Arthur pizza blend, but that's not a flour that I would cook at high temperature. That's not a good high temperature flour, so be aware of that. Uh, one of the I'm getting. I need to make sure. I wanted to cover. I was going to talk about steaks tonight. Canadian flour works well. Yeah, there's a that Tony Gamignani talks some about some of the flour he had is Canadian, but I don't remember. He's a big fan of this flour called All Trumps, and that's hard for me to come by. Christopher, smoke flavor on a pizza is not really a problem. Uh, you're heating your grill hot enough that it, uh, most of the residue in there that might create smoke is going to burn off. And if your grill's real greasy on the inside, it's a good idea to do uh, a self cleaning on your grill before you want to do a pizza. That is correct. You would not want to cook a pizza in a greasy, smoky environment. And if your grill's got a lot of grease buildup in it from doing a whole bunch of low and slow cooks, if you try to bring that grill up to 500 degrees, it's going to look like a smoke factory until that stuff burns out of there. So it's a good idea to make sure your grill's been burned out and good and clean before you try to do that. Or do the cleaning. Heat your grill up to about 550 or 600 degrees and wait until the smoke goes away to put your pizza on, and then you'll be good to go. Uh, No, Paul's right. You can do it in your oven. My oven will go up to 550, and this is one of the bases. The the baking steel. Andrus Lagsden up in, I think he's up in Pennsylvania also. Uh, he's got placement for a pizza stone, and he does all of his cooking in an oven. And he preheats the oven with the baking steel in it and gets the baking steel good and hot and has the baking steel up on the top rack of the oven. And then when he puts his pizza in, he's got a screaming hot steel, and then he turns the broiler on, and he's getting Neapolitan style results out of his home kitchen oven without having to cook at 900 degrees. A broiler, running that broiler up there, you get really hot up close to a broiler, and he can get those same results. So yeah, there's a lot to be learned by reading the content that's available on the Baking Steels website for cooking pizzas at home inside your oven. And since I've gone so long talking about pizzas, I'm going to hold the steak stuff. I'm going to show you a couple of quick pictures though. I did a steak earlier today. I had pizza for dinner and I had a ribeye for lunch. I haven't done well with the eating project today, but I was playing with the I wanted to cook a steak with the new Auto Wild. So I had this ribeye. This is not a great ribeye either. This is a one I got at a grocery store, and it's an inch thick, but it just wasn't the greatest quality steak I've ever had. So I put this guy in the Auto Wild, and this is kind of an interesting picture. It's kind of hard to see here, but the flame is coming down from that broiler, and it's just it's hovering a half an inch above this meat. And I it put a pretty nice sear on this guy. The I got a little more black on it than I would like. I'm still trying to learn to tame the flame from this thing, but in this steak, this caramelization you see here that is not black, this is exactly what I'm shooting for over the entire surface of this steak. This fat vein through here, this area right here turned black quickly, but this is in the fat. I don't know why the fat turned black. I'm not really sure. Like I said, this is not the greatest quality steak I've had, but once I get a couple of nice dry aged ribeyes off of that roast that I've got dry aging in the refrigerator, you're going to see some wicked results, hopefully, from this broiler. And I'm going to continue playing with this broiler until I master it. I haven't mastered it yet, and when I do master it, we're going to make some video content from that broiler because that thing is crazy. But Janice, I cooked it on the Auto Wild. I did the entire cook under the broiler. I didn't pre-cook it and then finish it in the broiler. That's one option you can do. And the first steaks I cooked under here, I cooked sous vide and then finished them under the broiler. But today I decided to do the entire cook under the broiler. And this steak wasn't really thick enough for that project. I needed. I don't like cooking. I like cooking steaks that are at least an inch and a half thick, and this one was only an inch. And it this steak was not thick enough for this project. But like I said, I'm working on the sear. I don't really care that this steak ended up with a medium cook. It cooked a little more than I wanted it to because of the size of it, but my target was to get this to look like I wanted it to. I didn't really care about the cook. I'm trying to learn how to tame that flame. That thing's stupid hot. It's crazy. I love it. So it's yeah, it's called the Auto Wild. Uh, I've posted some pictures of it. You'll have to look that one up. It's a really slick little broiler. It's a double burner broiler that generates 1500 plus degrees, and we'll see how it goes. I was going to talk some more about steaks tonight because my steak cooking technique is evolving, and I've been learning some new things, and the broiler is going to be part of that. and maybe a couple other ways. I've watched some videos on perfect, what people call perfect steaks, and oddly enough, none of them are the way I've been doing them. None of these people that have produced some steaks that I thought looked perfect were searing on cast iron or soap stove. Well, there were a couple cast irons. When you look at how steaks are cooked at Peter Luger, they're done in an iron pan. They're cooked a little slower at a lower temperature, but the results are beautiful, and they're cooked in butter and herbs. I'm going to get into that. One other thing I did today, I posted about this, I think on Atlanta Grill or on the Kamado Joe page. I like, in this picture on this steak, you can see it a little bit here. You can see some little red here. One of the things I like to do is I salt my steaks and I'll let them dry brine in the refrigerator for a little while. But I like to put a very thin coat of cayenne pepper, a very super light dusting of cayenne pepper, almost so light that you can't see it, on the steak as well. But that's kind of difficult to do, to get it out there evenly and thin. And I played around today, and I made some cayenne pepper salt. This is let me bring this back up where you can see it. This is Morton kosher salt. It's Morton's coarse kosher salt. I don't know if that's going to focus in there or not. Probably not. But this is a coarse grain kosher salt, and I played around with it to get the taste I was looking for. I don't want this spicy. This is just kind of a wake up spice that's going to go on steaks. And lately, one of the things I've been doing that I hadn't really told too many people about, when I cook my steaks, the only thing that's going on that steak during the cook is salt and the cayenne pepper. But I mix the cayenne pepper with the salt at a ratio of, I put 6 tablespoons of salt in here and 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. And the weight that worked out, I weighed it out so I could duplicate it. I've got 96 grams of salt and 2 grams of cayenne pepper, and that's perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. So think about that. This is what I'm seasoning my steaks with before the cook. I'm going to quit putting other things on my steak before the cook. Even black pepper. Black pepper scorches. It scorches also. Garlic. I don't use garlic powder anymore. I quit using garlic powder a long time ago. I use granulated garlic. Granulated garlic works a little better for me, and granulated onion as well. Granulated onion will scorch, but the black pepper, I don't want to put anything on my steak that's going to scorch, because I want to get that perfect sear that I'm showing you here, and then I want to bring my additional flavors to the steak after I've got my sear done, and that's going to be brought to the table with a butter bath. We're going to put butter. We're going to use melted butter and herbs. There's going to be maybe rosemary, maybe thyme, maybe sage, maybe some of all of the above, black pepper, and the garlic. It's real easy to bring the garlic in with the butter. And that's just some things that we're developing. You know, when I posted about that salt, one of the things I said in the post is, every time I think I have my steak processed to where I'm really happy with it, I see something new that I like, and I'm in a constant state of flux with steak. Yeah, Hank, that's exactly what I'm doing. That makes it easier for me to spread the cayenne evenly, because that salt, you get a pinch of that salt, it's real easy to sprinkle that up high and get a nice even coat of that salt on that steak. And then I let it sit for a minute, and then I flip it over, do the same thing to the other side. And I've got these quarter sheet pans with these racks. I set it in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours and kind of let it dry brine. If I can let it go for 8, I do that. Uh, let's see. Josh is late to the party. I bought a new bottle of whiskey yesterday, Josh. I'm enjoying some of this Uncle Nearest 1856. It's pretty good. They had the 1884 or whatever it is. They had both of them, and this was 100 proof, so I bought the 100 proof bottle. And I haven't drawn a conclusion on it yet. It's good. I don't have any complaints about it. I guess if I've got any complaints about it, the only complaint I have is it costs more than my Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select, and I don't like it quite as well as I like the Single Barrel Select. Yep. There's always a trick. The Nashville Beer and Wine Festival's next weekend. Well, I don't know if I'm ever going to, I don't know when my next time off work's going to be able to come. My coworker is out with COVID, and he's going to be out for his third weekend in a row this weekend. I won't be able to get any more time off until he comes back. There's another guy on the night shift during the week that's out with COVID. So I happen to work a shift that's very difficult to find replacement staff for since I work the overnight shifts. And I was telling Tanya yesterday, I think I would like to take a weekend off in November, but I won't be able to get that weekend off. But yeah, we need to get together, Stephen. You and I, we need to make a video together or do something. We, I'm gonna try to find a way to. I'm still begging Stephen to come on here live with me. We got to make that happen. We can have a drink in real time and talk it out. I know Steven's a magical cook. Brian, I like that garlic. There's one that's, or I like the buffalo. I like the buffalo one. I like that Nashville hot one. I like the I don't remember what all of them are. I haven't even used all of them yet. I've got the whole set, but there's only 4 or 5 of them that I've used. Uh, my recommendation for you is if you're going to try them, buy the whole set. You got nothing to lose. They're all going to be good. I can't I haven't tried any of Atlanta Grill Company's house branded stuff yet that I did not like in one shape or another. And these wing zings have proven to be that so far. And plus, I think they've probably got a set discount if you buy the whole set. Yeah, Stephen, let's do that. Tanya and I have already committed to going back to Jack Daniels distillery once they've got their tours open back up. I'm assuming that Uncle Nearest is probably not that far from Jack Daniels. Or is Uncle Nearest Distillery in Lynchburg, Stephen? Let's see if it tells me on the bottle there. I don't know where they're located, but I'm assuming they're probably not too far out because we wanted to go back to Jack Daniels, and maybe that's something to hit both of them on the same weekend. Y'all need to discuss the buffalo blue cheese chops again. Yeah. Steven, I've learned a lot from Steven. I've learned a lot from watching the pictures he posts. He doesn't know how often I rip him off. I steal his ideas all the time. He makes me look good when I do it too. Yeah. But I want to go to Buffalo Trace also. And Tanya and I were talking about making a 3 day, maybe a 3 dayer, and running up into Kentucky. And I want to go to Buffalo Trace, but they haven't opened their tours back up yet either. And then run back down to Lynchburg. So, yeah, we'll do it. Northern Virginia. I got some relatives up in Northern Virginia that I could go visit for sure. Yep. So Tanya and I went to DC, but it's been a long time ago that we went up there. We did a little vacation. We all steal our stuff from somebody. If I wasn't standing around a bunch of good people that knew how to do anything, I probably wouldn't be able to do anything either. So, oh boy. Well, I'm not going to run incredibly long tonight like I've done the last couple of weeks. So, uh, I put a request in to Gary White at Atlanta Grill Company to see if he wanted to come on with me, and I didn't get an answer. So, I don't know if I'll be able to get Gary to come on with me or not. I'm going to press him because I think a lot of people would like to meet Gary. If you haven't met Gary, he's a great guy. You'd love him. Uh, he's fun, and he's fun to talk to about grilling stuff and about the gear, especially. As you know, Gary's kind of he's kind of the social media background of Atlanta Grill Company. You know, he's out there. Gary spends a lot of time every day reading people's questions and comments in these forums on Facebook and whatnot, and answering questions and getting you pointed in the right direction. And it'd be nice to put a face and a personality with that name you see when you see Gary posting. So I'll stay on him. The last time I was at Atlanta Grill Company, I mentioned it to Jason, and Jason said, "Yeah, you ought to try to get him to do that." But I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Gary might be a little bit like Steven. He might be a little shy about getting in front of the camera. We'll have to get him on there. Gary's checked in on this live stream a couple of times in the past. I don't think he does it very regularly, but yeah, Gary's somebody that you would all enjoy meeting. If you can't go visit Atlanta Grill, well, even if you go visit Atlanta Grill Company now, you're not going to get to see Gary. The last couple times I've been down there, Gary's not in the retail shop there anymore. Gary is running the warehouse and the fulfillment center. So the last trip I made down there, I made my first visit over to see this new warehouse, and Gary didn't even have time to stop and talk to me. He was unloading a container load of Kamado Joes, and Gary's busy. Gary doesn't have time, and I understand that. And Gary shied away from this kind of thing in the past, so I'm not gonna push him too hard. So yeah, Steven, you'd get addicted to this, Steven. I promise you, you'd love it. And man, if I could get you on here every week with me, it would be fun. We'd have some good times. We'd drink a half a bottle of whiskey and have these people laughing at us before the end of the hour. All right, let me get my wife back up in here. Tanya,
Hey.
are we done? I know I didn't talk much about the steaks, but we will. I guess what I need to do is get. I need to get this broiler tamed, because it really is an amazing tool. I want to cook some fish on it this coming week, so I need to run down to Sam's tomorrow and get a whole salmon fillet.
Okie dokie, we could do that. We could run to Greensboro too if you wanted.
Greensboro tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to try that on a work day. If you want to go to Greensboro, aren't you off work next Friday?
Yeah, but I need something from Duluth Trading Company before next Friday.
Oh,
so
well,
I might run to Greensboro.
Okay. If we left early enough, we could go tomorrow. So we'll figure it out.
We don't
All right,
have
guys.
to.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good weekend. If you got questions for me, I'll leave them in the comments field, and I'll come back through these comments tonight or tomorrow and answer any questions that I haven't covered here tonight. So we will see you guys next week.
True, Joshua. I forgot. It's Greensboro, not Greensboro.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week.